Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to show you your fraction number line match work for the day and remind you some things about fractions that might help you and show you a way that you can do this work without having to actually cut them out if you don't have scissors and glue at your house, or if you're like me and you had to print out your own packet for today. You might have something printed on the back if you printed it two-sided, so you might not want to cut out the tiles. So the first part here, it says directions, cut apart the fraction number line match into individual tiles. The sentence finishes over here. Okay, so that means that you would cut them out into individual things. It's hard to see, so I drew on here some lines so you can see there's actually little thin lines that show you where you would cut these out if you wanted to cut them. Okay, if you have scissors and you have glue, you can definitely cut them out so you can line them up and match them. Step 2, match the fractions to the correct number line model. So each of these fractions, right, written in its form here, matches one of these number line forms. So you can either cut these out and then you can match them. It says glue them down in a piece of paper or a journal. If you don't have a place to glue them down, that's fine. You can just match them up on a table or wherever you're working. Okay, so then if you don't want to cut them out, what I did was I went and I numbered each of my fractions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't matter what order you number them in. You could also give them letters if you wanted. You can make them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, but I did numbers for mine. Okay, so each of these fractions I know is going to match a number line. So what I'm going to do is find the number line that matches one of my fractions, and then I'm going to write that same number down in that box. So that way I know it's a match without having to cut them out. So let me show you what I mean. So let's say that I want to look at this one, which is 6/8. Okay, so the bottom number, the denominator, right? The denominator is down, is the number of equal parts in a fraction. So I know whatever number line shows 6/8, that number line is going to have to be broken into 8 equal parts. So as I'm looking at my number lines, I might start in here and kind of go across. Well, this one has 1, 2 equal parts, so that can't be right. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. So I'm going to look for one that has more equal parts. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 equal parts in that one. But look, this one looks kind of the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts in this one too. So now what I have to do is figure out my numerator, which is the top number. So in this fraction, my numerator is 6. So I have to now look at the number of jumps, right? The number of parts of the number line to see how many of those equal parts are being used. So if I look at this one down here, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these equal parts taken up. So that can't be right because my numerator is 6. So let me look back at this one that has 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 jumps, right? So 6 parts of those 8 equal parts are taken up. So 6/8, right? 6/8 would be the fraction that matches this one. So I'm going to write a number 3. It looks a little bit weird, but it's a number 3. So these two number 3s, now I know that they're a match. Okay, so you'll keep going until you find matches for all of your fractions. So first you might want to look for the denominator. Look for how many equal parts are in a fraction. Then you're going to look to the number of equal parts that are filled in by these little jumps to figure out the numerator that matches. Then it says, pick 2 sets and explain how you are correct, how you know you're correct. So for this one, I might write something like, I know I am correct because the number line was broken into 8. Make sure you check your work, right? 8 equal parts, which matches the denominator. Okay, matches the denominator, right? The number that was down. And there were 6 parts marked on the line, which matches the numerator. Okay, so see how I wrote a nice full sentence there? I know I am correct, right? That's a great way to start your sentence. If it says, how do you know you are correct? I know I am correct because the number line was broken into 8 equal parts, which matches the denominator. And there were 6 parts marked on the line, which matches the numerator. So I used my math vocabulary words. I talked about why I was correct. I didn't just say, I know I am correct because I am. Right? I had to really give a reason and an example to show that my math thinking was right. So somebody who asked me, are you sure about that, Mrs. D? I'd be able to really explain to them why I think I am correct. Okay? So that shows you how you can do those first parts. You can just write, if you don't cut yours out, you can just write your reason that you're correct right at the bottom like I did. Okay? The next piece that you're doing, it says write down the fractions in order from least to greatest. So there's 2 choices for this. One, if you have your packet, the way that the school sent it, you probably have a blank page on the back of the page before this. You can write them down there if you want. You can do it on a separate piece of paper if you have paper at your house, or you can actually use this margin on the right-hand side. So you might be able to use it here. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. 1, right? 1 part of 1 equal part is a whole. Okay, so that one's going to be the biggest for our fractions. So you could put that one all the way down at the bottom. And then you could put the rest of the 10 fractions to fill in, right? The least to greatest. Okay, you know you're going to have 10, so you want to make sure that you leave space for all of those, okay? So you'll put your fractions from least to greatest, right? Smallest to biggest, okay? So a whole part of it, right here. Then the last one is a little bit trickier. It says, are any of the fractions equivalent, right? That means that they're equal. This is what we looked at when we were comparing fractions a little bit last week. So some of your fractions might be the same. Remember, we looked at our fraction strips and we figured out that 1/2 was the same as 2/4. So if you have your fraction strips, you can use those to help you. If you don't have fraction strips, you can always draw out a little picture on a piece of scrap paper or somewhere else. So that way you can see, are any of these actually the same? So then when you put them in least to greatest, you'll see that some of them are a tie, right? So you could put them in any order you want, okay? So this is what math looks like today. I hope that this helps you figure out a way that you can do it if you don't have a way to cut them out. It also, I hope, kind of showed you what you would do as you're doing this work and how you might be thinking to figure out what these matches are and then figure out what order they're going to go in using those fraction strips or drawing a picture and then explaining why you think you're correct in your matches. All right. You don't have to do the same one as me for why you know you're correct. Pick a different one so that way I know that your math thinking looks great, or you can prove that you know how to do this work on your own. Okay. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, friends. Have a great day. Bye.